Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Welcome to my page. My name is Michaela. Excuse me. I am from Paint Fixation, and tonight I'm going to show you the difference between waxing on raw paint or waxing on a top coat on top of your paint, and why you might want to do it one way or the other. I'm just checking to see if I can pin this. It's not wanting to pin. Okay, so I'm just going to get started. If you come on, please say hello. Let me know that you're here. If you are local and you need paint or any of the products I'm showing you tonight, you can go to my shop at 801 Blanding Boulevard at Antiques for You, or in Fleming Island at Junk in the Trunk. And if you're enjoying this video, please share it. It really helps my small business for you to share. And if you're not already following me, please do that too. Now that we got all the business out of the way, let's have some fun. Okay, so I've got this custom piece that I am working on right now. This is from a client that saw me live, I think. She saw me live, or she saw me on a post, I'm not sure. But she has this little buffet, and I'm going to be doing her china cabinet, which is bringing me tomorrow. So I was waxing it, and it occurred to me that when I'm usually waxing, I usually just tell you guys, you know, hi Sherry, hi Wendy, hi Jackie. So I usually just tell you, you know, well, don't wax on raw paint unless you want this look, or wax, you know, put some wax on it first. But I don't think I've ever really showed you the difference in what it looks like, because usually I'm working on something specific, and that's what you see. So I am going to show you what it looks like, the difference in how it looks. Okay, isn't it pretty, Sherry? This is Savannah Mist. Okay, I'm going to try and back this up just a little bit. Let me move this out of the way. Let's see. This is kind of an impromptu live. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but it occurred to me this might be something I might want to see. Let's see. Bring it back that way. Hi, Beth. Hi. Are you new? I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome. Welcome to my page. Okay. Let me get a drink of my water. Okay. So this is Savannah Mist and black wax. And as you can see here, I've already put some wax around here. I've done some wax over here on this end here. And you can see the difference between this one and this one here. You see the difference in how the wax brings out some of the details. At first, the customer thought she was going to want a clean look like this, but she saw a picture of Savannah Mist with the black wax, and she fell in love with it. So I'm going to show you, I have a board here. I just did this today, so hopefully none of this will wipe off when I show you what I'm talking about. But, yes, Jackie sees my kitty door. So when my kids were younger, for those of you who haven't been following me for very long, thank you very much, Sherry. I really appreciate you, girl. So when my kids were younger, we had 2 cats and 2 dogs, and one of the cats did not like to be chased, and he could just never get away from this one particular dog, which she passed away. So we put these little cat doors, and you can't see how cute it is, but it's a little cat door with ears. And so the cat could run down the hallway and then run into the room. So we have one of these in each of the 3 bedrooms back here. But when I started using this as a workroom, I cannot be having these cats in here all the time. They get hair in here. The hair still finds its way in here under the door, but I try and keep them out. But I had to resort to duct tape. I've tried 2 different other kinds of tape, and so far he hasn't been able to get. There's only one cat that really cares about getting in here. He's a stinker. But I love him. He loves me, so I love him. Not too many cats love me like he does. So this is the board that I painted. This is the Savannah Mist. And if you can see, which I'm sure you can, this side has our top coat in satin. And that's this here. Okay. And this side here is just raw paint. Okay. So I'm going to wax this board. And then I'm going to wipe back the wax and show you the difference of what I mean. So So if you're doing a piece that you want it to have a more grungy look, which is this how I did my bathroom cabinets, I painted them in drop cloth, and then I used grunge wax, which is our gray wax, and I did not top coat them first. I cannot see, my glasses are dirty. So it kind of gives you a grungier look. You don't have as much control of pulling the wax back. And I'm going to show you what I mean, because I've said that a lot of times on here. Excuse me. And it just occurred to me today that I don't think I've ever actually showed y'all the difference. Much better. Oh, and speaking of my glasses, I had a customer drive an hour and a half to see me this weekend. She was a lovely woman named Jane. And she came here to get a lesson from me and to buy some paint. And the first thing she says to me when she gets out of her car is, "You look so much younger in person." I was like, "I love you, but I'm not sure about that." So I think it's these, maybe, I don't know. Okay, let's get to business. All right, so here's the board. I'm going to turn y'all down just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so I'm using my French tip brush. I'm going to put my black wax. Okay, this is the black wax. And I know it was Sweet Sherry, but it did kind of make me wonder, like, what the heck? Okay, I'm going to put it in my lid so that I get my wax into my bristles, okay? That's what I want. I want it to get in my bristles. And I'm going to just take it. Okay, I need more. Need more wax. I'm going to really get it in there. I'm actually doing a demonstration on wax at the end of the month, so I'll be using this. Hi, Cindy. Hello. Welcome. All right. So I'm going to get it on here. Y'all see? And you can already kind of see the difference. Before I even start to go any further, I'm going to show you. You can already see the difference in how this looks. Oh, it's raining. Okay, so this side, let me show you. Okay, so this side down here, this is the raw paint. Do you see how it actually gives us... Wendy says, okay, so, but if you're local to me, starting tomorrow for the next 2 weeks, I'm offering a free brush if you spend $50. But you have to have the ad. So you have to go on my Google and get the ad and show them. And then you get a free brush. It's a little test I'm doing to see how many people see my Google ad. So if you guys are local and you want a free brush, you can get one of these. Come to my shop. My Antiques for You shop. Okay. So this is the one without any top coat. Do you see how much darker it is? And this is the one with the top coat. You can already see without even wiping the difference. Okay? So we probably don't even need to go any further than this, but I'm going to just go a little bit further back here. Okay? Now I'm just going to take an applicator pad. I'm going to get a cleaner one than this. Oh, there they are. Hang on one second. I just want to get a clean one so we can have a true test here. Because this one does have a little bit of wax on it from earlier. Okay. Cindy says she's not local. Well, maybe we can talk. Okay, so here we go. Top coat, no top coat. Now, I'm going to rub it back. I'm giving equal pressure all the way down. Now, you see the difference? Look at that. So, with this, you're looking at a cleaner look. Now, this one, let's do it over here where there's a crack. Okay, because that's really where you can see the difference. Get some more wax. Okay, so we're going to go on this side now. And you can hear the pressure. I'm really digging it in there because I really want it to get into the paint, just to give y'all a good demonstration. Okay, so no wax, no top coat, top coat. Okay, so now I'm gonna wipe it back. This time I'm not going to use as much pressure on the top coated side, okay? I'm just going to go in the flat parts, okay? But on this side, I'm really going to give it some pressure. I'm really working this. Okay, do you see how it does not hardly remove any? The paint absorbs the wax, okay? Now, you can take artist brushes, which is what I'm using on this piece here. I'm using a flat artist brush, okay, and I'm just getting it on the tips, and I'm going to go back. So I've got a little bit of wax on my flat areas, but I want to give it a little bit more dimension. So I'm just going to come in here like this. Okay, do you see that? Let me see if I turn it this way. So you see the black and the crack there? Okay, now you can do that here too. So we can do the recessed areas equal. They look pretty much the same, okay? But where you're going to see your difference is your flat surfaces. Now, we can take some wax and take some of this off. I'm going to use Easy Peasy wax, and I'm going to get my clear wax too. I don't usually use it just because I don't use a lot of clear wax, but I'm going to show y'all how it works. Okay, so the first thing we're going to try is the Easy Peasy wax. Okay, so we have our paint, our plain raw paint here. So I'm going to take my sponge. I'm going to shake up my Easy Peasy wax. Okay, you want to shake it till you can't hear it making any noise. Okay, hear that? Excellent. I'm going to spray it here, and I'm going to wipe back here, okay? And you're going to see it disappear a little bit, but you can still see this line pretty heavy. Now, of course, if this was all raw paint, this would be a nice grayed out area. Hey, Alyssa! Okay, so this is a look that, like I said, I have this look in my bathroom, okay? I have it a little darker than this. All right, so that's with the Easy Peasy wax. Okay, now let's try the Best Dang Wax in clear. Okay, that's this product. And let's see how it takes it off. Okay, so we're going to work on this side now, over here. It does take some elbow grease to get it off. I'll put a little bit more on here. And you can see it coming off on the clear wax, it starts out white. That's what you're seeing on there. Okay. So do you see the difference now? So this has got wax on it too. It's just not nearly as dark. And you can add more if you want more. So I'm going to get my brush. Okay, so we're going to go on the side that has top coat. And I'm just going to take it. I haven't added any wax to it. I'm just taking my brush that's just already been used. And I'm just darkening it up a little bit. The other thing that I like to do is go this way. I'll put a little bit of wax on here. So let me show y'all what this can look like here. So I'll take it and go this way with it. And on the edge here, you see how that's the Savannah Mist? I'm going to take it okay, so now it's got a black shadow on there. And then I can do it here too. And I'm going to show y'all on that piece there too. I'm going to do one little section. So just because it has clear coat on it doesn't mean you can't darken it up. Okay, it doesn't mean you can't get a darker look. You just have a lot more control over your finished product. And also it has that sheen. So you also have one coat of your top coat. I always do 2 coats of a clear coat for protection. So I'll wait for the wax to dry, and then I'll put my second coat on. Or if this was on a top piece or something that was very heavily used, I would use my gator hide. So I always use like a clear coat in satin or even flat under my wax, and then I put my top coat of the sheen that I want to protect the wax as well. So when you're doing wax, you actually could leave it like this, okay? Like this piece here, okay? I can finish waxing this piece, and I don't have to put another top coat on it if I don't want to, because wax is protective, and also our paint doesn't have to have a top coat at all. Once the paint has cured, it's rock hard. It's just that whether you want a chalky finish, which you can sand it and make it smooth, but it still has that chalky feel. And also if you want it to have more water protection, you can use the gator hide. But it doesn't have to. So you can stop at this point, okay? So you can stop at this point. You can either have your raw wood or your top coated. You could leave it just like this, but over time, your wax, if it's a heavily used piece, your wax could wear away, okay? So if you're going to spend the time, just like I did with an artist brush, and you're going to do the details and you're going to make it look beautiful, you want it to stay that way, especially if, say, if you're selling pieces, if you're doing it to flip furniture, you know, you want it to stay the way that you finished it. Then you wait for your paint to dry and you put a top coat over the top of it, and that seals in your finish. So your beautiful finish that you've worked so hard on stays that way. You don't have to worry about over time, you know, if it's on the top or the edges or people are touching it or rubbing up against it, you don't have to worry about that rubbing off, okay? It'll stay the way that you finished it, but it doesn't have to be top coated, okay? It will, you know, this recessed edge, if this was something on a piece of furniture and you have this recessed, more than likely that's not moving, okay? No one's going to get in there and mess with it. So I would be comfortable with leaving this without a top coat for sure. But if you wanted it to have a sheen, if you want it to have a glossy sheen, you would use the satin, the gloss top coat. If you wanted it to have a water repellent finish, then you would use the gator hide. So like I will use the satin on the whole piece, and then on the top of this I will be using gator hide, because this is a small buffet that will go in a living room and probably will have, you know, condensation and stuff like that on there. And so I will definitely be putting gator hide on top, but I'll be doing satin on the rest of it. So let's go ahead and do this piece here, this decorative piece here, and I'll show you what I've been doing with it. The other thing I wanted to tell you is also when you have a top coat, and I'll show you one here. This has been top coated with satin. When you have a top coat, you don't have to use the waxes to take it off. You can use a damp rag or a baby wipe, okay? So you save money and product by not having to use your waxes to take off your decorative wax to get the look that you want. I've just been using a damp piece of cloth. Thanks, Cindy. This is a Savannah Mist. So let me get this. Let me put these down. It has these little sides that they come down, but I have been knocking them. I'm like a bull in a china shop. I put a little pad underneath it so it wouldn't mess up my finish. Okay, so let's bring y'all in. Okay, all right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wax on the major portions, and then I'm going to go back in with my artist brush. Now you don't have to do the artist brush part of it, but the picture, the finish that she wants has a darker recessed, and I can't get that with this fluffier brush. So I'm just going to go in here, and I'm just going to kind of grunge it up a little bit. doing decorative wax is not as laborious as doing it for protection, because when you're doing it for perfection, you need to buff it all in. And I will buff this a little bit after a day, but it's not as hard on your muscles as the other clear waxes when you're using clear wax. Okay, so can y'all see that? It looks like, I don't know if the lighting, here, let me see if I can move this to a different angle. There, I think that's better. There we go, that's better. Okay. All right, so I've got my wax on there. Now I'm just going to take my rag, this is the old t-shirt, and I'm going to dampen it. And because I have a top coat on here already, it's going to pull the paint off very easily. Do you see that? So you just leave it where you want it to be. So I'm not taking all of it off. And you can see that it's picking up all the little cracks and crevices. This is also a really good way to tell where you missed your top coat, because if you've missed a spot with the top coat, you're going to be able to tell right away, because it's going to grab it, just like you saw on that board. It's going to grab it a lot differently than the rest of the piece. Okay, so I'm leaving a lot of it. We're leaving it around here. We're not going for a real grungy look. We just want it to have a little bit of an aged look. And again, I can go back and add in if I want to add some in. And I like to make sure it looks more natural. I don't want any sharp edges. I don't want it to look like I came in here and painted this on. I want it to look like this has been aged naturally. So you see how we pulled that back. Hey, Debbie. Hey, no problem, gal. You're here. Okay. So now I'm going to take my artist brush and I'm going to add in some darker details like we see up here. Okay. So I take my artist brush, and what I'm doing is I want to try and keep it as straight as I can. Okay, this one is not real stiff. I usually have an angled one that's real stiff, but I think maybe it was seen better days. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my brush and I'm going to try and let y'all see this. I'm kind of pressing it side and then flipping it over side so that it keeps its stiffness, it keeps the flatness to it. So basically, instead of going like this, I'm just kind of patting it left and right, or back and forth. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pull it through. This right here, it's missing a little bit of the wood, so it's not real deep right there. But I'm just pulling it down to darken up that recessed. And you see how easy it is to pull it, grab it off. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have my top coat on here, okay? And I have also done, I wanted to demonstrate that too, but I didn't think about it until last minute. You can also put the, hi Wilma, you can also put the Easy Peasy wax on first before you do wax, but I do find it does not, it doesn't pull back as easy as with the top coat. So I prefer to use top coat. I think it gives me a lot more control over where I want the paint to be. I wish I had a stiffer brush to show y'all, but this is doing the job that I need it to do. Okay, and so now we're getting a nice, dark, sharp, recessed edge there. Okay, I'm just going to pull it down. And I'm going to wipe it in just a minute, because right now, I don't know if y'all can see it, but right now, you know, you can kind of see that this was placed here. Just kind of got a, not a brush mark, but it's kind of hard to describe, but it doesn't look completely natural. But in just a moment, I'm going to just give it a quick brush or wipe, and it'll blend it in there in the crack, and it'll make it look a lot more natural. I'm just going to give this a little shadow there. I feel like, what's his name? Bob. What's his name? I'm just going to put a little tree right there. So I'm also going to come in. Sorry, guys. I don't know why that came on. That scared me. I'm sorry. That was my husband. It's not supposed to ring. I have it on Do Not Disturb. My goodness, I startled very easy. I'm sorry. Okay, so thank you, Beth. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do this edge here because I'm highlighting all, see that? Look at how that just, can y'all see that? Let me get y'all closer. Hopefully he doesn't try and call back. I have my do not disturb on. I don't know why that rang. Okay. I don't even know if y'all could hear that, but it scared the mess out of me. Okay, so we're just going to come in here like this. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a shadow down there. And then I'm going to turn it over this way. Right here. And you can see the black right here. It kind of gives a gray tone right here where I had put it on earlier. And I'm just going to take this and come straight down like this. And automatically everything just pops. Like this goes from just a plain all one color. Okay, so we started out with something that looked like that. Okay, and now we have something that looks like this. Debbie says it scared her. Scared me too, girl. my kids laugh because I'm so easily startled, and he could call again and I would jump just as quick, just as much. I'm terrible. I'm a really easy scare. Like, okay, so now I've got it in there, but I don't want it to look like I put it in there. So I'm just going to take this damp rag and I'm just going to I'm barely touching it. But as I do this, it's pulling all the color together so it doesn't look like a brush put it in there. It's just softening it up. Okay, so you can see, I'm not sure y'all can see it that well. Hopefully you can see it better than I can. I'm still just kind of, I'm not sure why that did that. Okay, so let me see if I can bring y'all even closer. So you can see it's kind of harsh. And I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to very lightly drag it so that the color just kind of drags together, because I don't like it to look like it was placed there. I want it to look natural. Oh, good. Thank you, Sherry. And I just realized by this, I didn't do up underneath this edge here, so I'm going to take it while I'm sitting here. And I'm going to go up here. Because I'm doing this for a customer, and I know that y'all probably can't see that because there's a shadow, but I had to send her pictures to make sure she liked it, and so I didn't do every little nook and cranny. Okay, so now let's see. What are we going to do with this flat edge here? Okay, so we don't want it to be completely grunged out, but we want it to have, we want to try and give this some character as well. We don't want to have, we don't want to have these nice black edge pieces and then have this flat edge. And these can be a little trickier to get it the way you want it to look. And I might have to go back and forth, but y'all are going to do it with me. So let's try it out and see what we can do. So I'm going to take my brush. I might go get a brush with a point. Let me go get my other French tip. Let's get a point on it. Okay. So this is the other brushes that I'm testing. This is the little Frenchie. I really like it. This is from Paint Pixie. I haven't put these on my website yet because I wanted to test them first to see if I liked them. But so far I'm happy with them. This is a hybrid. It's natural and synthetic, whereas this one's natural. Okay, you can tell how hard that one is and how soft this one is. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the little Frenchie because it's got the nice tip. And I'm going to get it in there just on the point, okay? And then I'm going to put it on my lid so that we don't have any I don't want any thick pieces to get on there, okay? And then I'm going to take it and come in here like this. Because we have this, we don't want to forget the little recessed places. This brush is perfect for this. Okay, so can you see this shadow right here? So I'm just going to give this a little shadow like this. And then I'm going to take my artist brush and I'm going to get it down in there and accent this right here. Okay. I don't want to get in the camera. All right. Now, because that's in there and I can't get it in there with this, I'm going to try and use my French tip. Oh, perfect. So it smooths it out beautifully. Now, I would not be able to do this. You see how pretty that shadow is? I would not be able to do this if I had not, hi Diane, if I had not put a top coat on there first. I wouldn't be able to just blend this out without the top coat. I would have to get something a little bit more aggressive. Okay, so I'm really liking that. So I'm going to leave that just like that. I took a little bit too much off right in here. So I'm just going to get my brush and get in there again. And then just that little edge there. And there we go. Perfect. I love it. This, Linda, this is a Savannah Mist. I'm using a Savannah Mist with a satin top coat and black wax. Okay, so now we're going to do this edge here. And this is the way I do flat edges when I'm using wax. Just to give them a little character, to keep them in the same color look as the detailed places. I'm going to use this brush first, okay? And I'm just going to use what's on it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go along the edge. And I don't know if y'all can see that, but it immediately gave that some depth right there, okay? And then I'm going to take this area over here. And I'm just going to give it a little bit. Again, I'm using a brush. This brush is not, I didn't add product. I'm just using what was on it. And then I'm going to bring it down here and I'm just going to give it a little shadow. And then a little shadow on this top part, just like that. Just very subtle. And then I'm going to take a dry part of this rag. I'm not going to use wet because I don't want to pull it back too much. But I just want to blend it just a little bit. So I'm just going to very lightly I'm softening up this edge here, okay? So it doesn't look like a brush put it there. I want it to look like time put it there, just like that. And I might bring a little bit off of this little place right here. Okay, so let me take a little bit too much off. Okay, so let me show you the difference. So you see this side over here doesn't have any wax, and this side does. Okay, so it's very subtle, but it's just enough to take the brightness off of the Savannah Mist because this is a brighter color. So you can see that I did this, I don't know what you call these curves. I'm sure it has a name. These curves, so I'm going to do this one over here. So this one's been waxed, okay? And now I'm going to show you this one here that has not been waxed. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I did that. So again, I'm taking, actually, I want it to be equal, so I'm going to do the same way I did before. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of wax, okay, and I'm going to put this up so it's not in my way. And I'm going to come in here and this is how I did it. I went around each of the high points first. Let me lower y'all down just a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to do the high points first. When you wax, every little imperfection shows up. Every little crack. Every little hair. That might be a hair there too. Okay, so I'm just going around the high points first. Okay, and like I did on the little board down here, okay, I'm going to just go back and forth. And that what that does is it kind of gives you the look like somebody's has been rubbed up against over the years. So you just kind of hit the edges. Again, over here, back and forth. Need a little bit more wax. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my artist brush. Hi, Wendy. Thanks, Cindy. I did too. At first she wanted a really clean look, and I was really glad that she decided to do wax because it just gives it so much character. Okay. So before I do this, let me do a little wiping. So I'm going to dampen this rag because I don't want to take off what I'm getting ready to put on. So I'm going to just pull this off a little bit on the higher areas, not the recessed. This is damp, and as you can see, it's coming off very well. I can basically control how much I take off because I have the top coat on it, underneath it. And I'm leaving quite a bit on here. And then the other thing that I did was I took my applicator pad and I took, yes, Sherry, those are the edges of the kitty roll. That's hilarious. That's exactly right too. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to take some of my wax off. I don't want it to be strong. And I'm just going to dust this just a little bit. I mean, you can barely, I can see it. Y'all probably can't tell the difference. But it's basically just a bare shadow of wax. Just so it's not so bright between each piece. Again, down here, I'm just giving it a little. And basically what this does, there's hardly any wax on here, but basically it just grabs all the little parts of the wood. Sometimes if it's like here, I can see the wood grain in here, which probably doesn't show up on camera. So Linda, yeah, so earlier I mentioned this already, but what you can do is you can do it two ways. You can seal it. If you seal it, then you know that your wax is not going to budge. But if you're concerned about time and a heavily used piece or parts of the piece that are heavily used and that over time your wax might rub off, because wax is not permanent. Over the years, it can wear. If you're concerned about that, depending on where on your piece, like I wouldn't be that concerned about it in these crevices because, it's not, you're not going to touch this area. But any of the flat surfaces that might actually get rubbed on, I like to always seal it. That way you know that what you put there is going to be there for years to come. So I'm just softening this edge up, okay? this is the kind of painting that relaxes me. I know it seems very tedious. But I love the fine details. Because I feel like this is what really finishes off your piece. Can y'all see that? See that? It just makes it. So again, I'm going to come down here. I'm applying this pretty heavily in here because it gives us such a nice shadow. And it really brings out the curves in this piece. Okay, and down here. So you won't really see this down here, but I don't like to leave any part of it undone, even though you can't really see this. I know it's there. Okay, so I'm just going to take my rag. I'm barely touching this. And I'm just cleaning out any little parts that aren't in the crevice. My daughter's in there laughing. I love the sound of laughter. Okay, so we're basically just cleaning up the edges. And again, if you take off too much, just add more. Okay, and so now I'm just going to hit this edge a little bit more because I didn't get it too good earlier. And then you can, these areas right here that are sitting up, you can just hit the edges. Just hit the edges of it. So I'm getting the edges to highlight them, and then I'm going to go back on that flat edge and take it off. Because I really just want these points to have wax on them. And of course, this is all personal preference. This is just my process. What do y'all think? I like it. All right, so I'm going to show you one more thing. We're going to do this flat section here, and then I'll let you guys go. So here we have this part here that has absolutely no character, none whatsoever. It's just a flat board. So we're going to add a little bit of wax to it and try and make it look nice. Try and make it look in the same color. You know, you don't want to leave part of your piece unwaxed because then it looks like it doesn't belong. So for this, I am going to use this smaller French tip. Okay. I'm just going to offload it a little bit so we don't have any thick pieces of wax. And I'm going to come in here. And I'm just giving it a light shadow. Can y'all see that? Between this is not done right here and this is done. Oops. Now see, I got a little bit too much right there. I don't want this to be black. I just want this to be a shadow. So I'm just going to take that off. And then I'm going to give a little bit down here. And I'm just smishing the brush. This brush is very soft. I'm really liking this brush. As soon as I can get these on my website, I'll have these for sale. This is the Paint Pixie Little Frenchie. I'm really digging it. Okay, so we have a shadow over here. And now we don't over here. So now we're going to do this edge over here. And I'm going to pull it this way and pull y'all that way just so I can see what I'm doing. And again, I don't want this line to look like it was placed there, so I'm just going to soften it up a little bit. And I'll use my rag to soften it up even more. I've got some right there that's not meant to be there. I'm just going to add it, get a little damp edge. Comes right off. And we don't want to leave this bottom part. We don't want it to be completely untouched. Okay, and now I'm going to take my artist brush. Hi, Amy. Good evening. And I'm going to just darken this little edge up, just so that everything stays consistent through the whole piece. Okay, and then I'm going to soften it with the rag just a little bit. I'm just going to just barely touch it, just so we don't have any brush strokes or parts that look like it was placed there. And now this top edge, I'm going to do the same thing, okay? I'm just going to just lightly soften this up. So for you guys that are just on, at the beginning of the video, I showed the difference between using wax with raw paint and with a top coat. So if you're interested in seeing that demonstration, it was at the beginning of the video. So you'll see how we got this look and the difference and why you sometimes might want wax to be, or want top coat to be on your raw paint first, just depending on the look that you want. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to just flick it. I'm going down. I'm not coming up. I'm just flicking down to give the edge a little bit more strength and look. Okay, so that it's not just a, I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. And this kind of defines the piece of the wood, the section. Okay, and it just makes it, to me, it just, like, just that one little bit of wax makes a huge difference. Okay, and so now I'm going to just take this and just very lightly, I'm barely touching it. I'm just softening up that edge so that so now it just looks like it's naturally placed there. I don't want it to get a little hair right there. I don't want it to look like it was put on with a brush. Okay, I know I've said that 100 times, but you know, I always laugh and say that we get pieces that look terrible, we clean them up really pretty, and then we paint them and then make them look grungy again. It cracks me up. But it's the truth. So now we have this nice shadowed piece of wood. So do you see the difference? Now this, from what it looks like to me, I'm going to swipe y'all to the left. Sarah, I can't see your comments right this second because I'm looking at it. But look at the difference in this and that one. This one has not been waxed. This one has. And look at just, now if you're going for a clean look, you know, if you don't want to have grunge or you don't want an antique look, this is perfectly beautiful. This has got a satin top coat on it, so it has a nice sheen to it. Okay. You could use a flat or a gloss depending on the look that you want. But it's beautiful in its own right. But then when you add the wax to it, you really are getting a completely different look. And it all depends on either what you want or your client wants or how you feel that day to paint, you know, because everybody, you know, my mood changes all the time. So I don't ever know. Now, doing the top of this is going to be tricky. Doing flat surfaces is always a little bit tricky because, and I'm not going to do it tonight because I'm going to need to do the whole top and at one time, and I don't have time to do that tonight. But so it's going to be a little bit trickier to do the top. What I probably will do with this, and if I'm doing it tomorrow, I'll pop in live. It might not be in the evening, it might be during the day, but then you can catch it on the replay. So I will do a quick live while I'm doing the top of this, because I will pull these up and I'll do the whole thing. But I will probably use a very similar technique to what I use on this flat piece down here. I'm not going to put wax over the entire piece. I might touch it lightly like we did this, okay? Just a slight hint of wax here. Oops. Hang on. I'm trying to get y'all back. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. I do too. But I'm going to definitely do some shadowing on the edges. I'll hit these edges. The client doesn't want it to be really, really grungy, okay? We just want, thank you very much, Amy. We just want to highlight the parts of the piece that are pretty. It's like one of the things that I had to do was on the front of this here, right here, there was a big ball on here. And just to change the look of it a little bit, we took that ball off. Okay, so there's things that you can do to change the look of your piece. And then here's one of the drawers. So I've already painted the drawer. I'll put one in for you so you can see. She still needs to get hardware. So that's what the drawer is going to look like. Okay, so this side has been done. This side has all been waxed. All right, I don't have a before of that, but this looked like this before it was clean. So we have this clean side over here, this flat clean side, and then we have this side. So we have a lot more character. All the nice pieces of the wood are showing. You know, and then if we decided that this was too much wax on the flat surfaces, even now, I did this morning, even now I could go back in with probably a baby wipe would be the best bet, or damp cloth. We can try it because I can always add it back in. Let's see how let's do it with a, thank you, Amy. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have just a little bit of extra here. So I'm going to use this, and you can see the stamp rag works perfectly. I wouldn't have to get a baby wipe. So I can take off as much wax as I want because of the top coat. It's just a lot easier. You can do this with wax if there wasn't something underneath it. But as y'all can see this, I don't know if y'all can see how it's coming, how easy it's coming off. But you can touch it up very easily. And it doesn't take long to top coat, okay? But it does take a long time to get wax off raw paint. It's very it's very hard. I can't say the word. Oh, goodness. Okay, so see? So I hope that this kind of gives y'all an idea of when you want to top coat something before you wax it and when you don't. Okay? You can certainly do this without a top coat. You certainly can. But again, excuse the mess behind me. It's, I like to just have more control over it. So if I take too much off, I can add a little bit in. Again, using the artist brush is tedious, but it's what I like the most. I love the tedious part of it. It's very relaxing. I know that sounds weird, but it is. So again, if you are on the replay or you weren't here at the beginning, I did a little demonstration on waxing over raw paint or on a paint that's been top coated. Okay, so if you guys are late coming on, just after the video, you can go back and check that out. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please share it. I appreciate it if you share it. And if you're not a follower, please follow, because then you'll get notifications when we go live. I go live. Been pretty good about this too, guys. I've been trying to be consistent. Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. are my committed evenings. These are just add-ons when I'm in here working and I decide that I need to show something that I realize I have not shown before. So this is just like gravy. Cindy, you too. Thank you so much. Anyway, guys, I will see y'all Wednesday evening. Hopefully, I'm going to have the RV here. I'm going to be doing cushions on an RV that's coming to me from over an hour away. She's bringing it. I'm going to be doing all the cushions and all the fabric on it. So I'm hoping to get it here before Wednesday so we can do it together because it's going to be an adventure for sure. All right. I love you guys. God bless. And I'll catch you later. Bye.